Every pilot has a dream of getting that perfect pilot job, whether it's flying the biggest or newest jets or doing unique flying they're really passionate about. But having a goal and achieving it are not the same thing.
You say that every year.
Yeah, but this year's different.
In this video, I'm going to tell you how I take every goal and work backwards to achieve it. Coming up. Hey 7-4 crew, what's going on? If you don't know me, my name's Kelsey. I'm a 747 pilot. This channel is all about aviation. So whether you're a pilot or an aviation enthusiast, consider subscribing. So in this video, I'm going to tell you how I work backwards to achieve all my goals. Let's get into it. So if you're sitting at home right now thinking about flying that 747, or maybe you're thinking about flying a G550 for a billionaire and going to exotic locations,
I'm talking G5 for the bigger.
Or maybe you're thinking about flying a float plane and wearing a polo shirt and shorts every day, flying along the Caribbean at 1,000 feet and just enjoying the sandy beaches. Regardless of your dream pilot job, having that dream and achieving it aren't the same things. I get a lot of messages from people asking me, how did you become a 747 pilot? Or how did you do this? Or how did you do that? Or what should I do? Or how much flight time should I get? And honestly, it's different for everybody of what the best path is. And I'm gonna show you in this video how to work that out for yourself. So the first thing you need to do is either establish the airline that you want to fly for or the plane you want to fly. What we'll use as an example is you want to fly the 747.
I want to fly the plane!
And in your country, there's 3 different airlines that have the 747. So the first thing you need to do is to get on their website, go to the career section of that airline, and look at what are the requirements for pilots to fly that aircraft. As an example, if you look at all 3 of those airlines, it could say 5,000 hours of total time, 1,000 hours of multi-engine turbine PIC, and a college degree. Well, let's say all 3 are saying basically the same thing, and they're requiring those 3 things for you to qualify to be a 747 pilot. Now you know what you need to achieve that goal. Now we need to work backwards on how to get there. You need 1,000 hours of multi-engine turbine time as a captain. So you decide the easiest way for you to get that is to go to the regionals and build that time quickly there. All right, now you need to work backwards and find what regionals do you want to go to. You find some of the regionals and see what their qualifications are to get to be a captain. So you look at 3 regionals that you'd be interested in going to, and all 3 say the exact same thing. 1,000 hours of being a first officer at that regional. Now you need to have 1,000 hours as a first officer to qualify to become a captain. And once you become a captain, you can get your 1,000 hours of multi-engine turbine PIC. But how do you qualify to get to the regionals? Now you go backwards again and go to those regional airlines and look at their career pages. See what they require of you to qualify to get to that airline. Now right now in the US, 1,500 hours is really all that matters. That could be 1,500 hours of bush flying, it could be 1,500 hours of crop dusting, it could be 1,500 hours of flight instructing. They don't care. 1,500 hours on a fixed wing aircraft and you have an interview. That's how it is right now. Now you know that you need 1,500 hours to get to the regionals. You need 1,000 hours as a first officer to get that 1,000 hours of multi-engine turbine PIC. Now obviously that's only going to add 3,500 hours. You have the possibility that by the time you get there, maybe that airline has reduced their minimums. And in the last couple of years, airlines have really started to reduce their minimums or drop the college degree requirement or drop different requirements. Maybe they only require a 500 hours turbine PIC. Either way, you need to have that goal and have that path going back so you know where you're at. So now that you know you need 1,500 hours to get to that regional job, depending on where you're at, you need to work on that set of goals. Let's say, I'm gonna use an example, you just finished your commercial license, you have 250 hours. You decide the best thing for you is to go and flight instruct. What you're gonna need to do is decide what your goal is at the end of the year. If it's January and your goal is at December 31st is to have 1,000 hours of total time, great. You have 750 hours to go. Let's say you decide it's gonna take you 2 months to finish all of your CFI ratings and you're gonna get about 50 hours. You're gonna take your time to do it all. Now you have 10 months to get 700 hours. That's pretty easy math. You need to fly 70 hours a month, which is a doable target. One of the really important things to do is establish doable targets. Don't set a goal of, I'm gonna fly 120 hours a month. Is it possible? Yeah, you could do it, but it's not realistic that you're always going to be able to do that, especially if you're flying in a general aviation aircraft. You're going to have weather problems or maintenance problems. Having a goal of 120 hours a month is going to be hard to continuously achieve for an entire year.
Challenge accepted.
Having that goal of 70 hours a month or 80 or even 90 hours a month, that's doable, but it's going to be a lot of hard work, but at least it's achievable. Now you have that goal of 70 hours a month, and now you need to make sure that that school that you're at, that you're going to flight instruct at, is going to be able to give you that amount of flight time. And if they're not, maybe you need to look at some additional schools in your area to make sure you can achieve that goal of 70 hours a month. Now you have your long-term goal of where you want to be, and every step you need to make all the way down to monthly steps. And here's why this is important. The beginning parts of your career are going to have a lot of hardships. You're going to have to do a lot of grinding, I call it. And that grinding is going to be difficult to go through unless you're looking at that short-term goal of 70 hours a month and just achieving that. If you keep looking at those short-term goals, it makes it easier. And if you're like me, at one point, especially my very first job, I was waking up in the Northeast in December, I think at 4:30 in the morning, cleaning my car off full of snow to get to a plane that I got paid, I think, $12 an hour to fly, that barely had a heater. And I used to have to wear 2 or 3 pairs of socks so my feet didn't freeze and I could feel the rudder once I came in and landed.
Stop crying like a little girl.
Now, I personally hate cold weather like that, but I kept thinking, all right, I think my goal at that point was like 80 hours a month. And I just kept saying, hey, 80 hours and I'm gonna get there, 80 hours and I'm gonna get there. And that's what I did. The next job I had, I was down in South Texas. I'm flying in South Texas and I'm flying and our air conditioner breaks. We're holding short of the runway on 18 left in DFW. I had sweat pouring down my face, and we called tower and asked them what number we were in line for takeoff. We were, I think, 30 or 35 for takeoff. And most people would be really irritated about that, but I just thought to myself, all right, that's another flight hour that I'm gonna get. It's gonna be a hard flight hour, but it's another flight hour that I'm getting paid to get me closer to my goal. It makes doing those grinding phases a lot easier when you have that short-term goal of what it is that you're trying to achieve. Now that you have those goals, it's important that you list out some other sub-goals of that. Don't make something like, my goals for this year are to be a good pilot. That's not a doable target. If you keep flying, you're gonna become a better pilot. Make it a doable target. I want to achieve 1,000 hours of total time. If you're an instructor, I want to have 8 students pass their check rides on the first time. Whatever it is that those goals are, you need to set several goals that are doable targets that you can really work to achieve. All right, crew, that's everything that I have as far as for how to achieve your goals by working backwards. In the comment section below, I want you to leave what your goals are for next year. At the end of the year, we'll be able to come back and revisit them. I'm also gonna put what my goals are for the YouTube channel so you guys can see what I'm aiming to do. And the reason that's really important to have your goals written out like that is so you can make yourself accountable. Tell people, this year I'm gonna try to achieve 1,000 hours. I've already told a couple of my friends what my goals are for the YouTube channel, and they're lofty goals, but that's how I am. You wanna set a goal that's realistic, but that it's a high goal. If you're 250 hours and you tell someone, my goal this year is to achieve 350 hours, well, yeah, anybody can do 100 hours in a year. You wanna make something where you push yourself, but that it's doable. So in the comment section, leave a comment, let me know what your goals are. I look forward to hearing from you. Until then, keep the blue side up.